Hello, and welcome to this special episode of Traverse Talks. I'm your host, Jim Horn, and I'm excited you've joined us for an important conversation about community safety and advocacy. Our guest today is Megan Wick. She is the chapter co-lead for the Traverse City chapter of Moms Demand Action, and that's an organization dedicated to promoting common sense gun safety measures. We'll be diving into Megan's personal journey, discussing the unique challenges we face here in Northern Michigan, and exploring practical ways each of us can contribute to a safer community. Whether you're already familiar with Moms Demand Action or simply curious to learn more, this is a conversation you won't want to miss, folks. So let's get started, and here's Megan. Here we go. Okay, Megan, here we are. I think talking with Megan today, Moms Demand Action, is really appropriate. Obviously, some of you may or may not have heard about the recent school shooting in Nashville, Tennessee. And unfortunately, two people were killed during that particular shooting. So I thought it was a good idea to have Moms Demand Action on and Megan Wick. Megan, how are you doing?
Good, great. Thanks for having me.
Good. Okay, so I know you've got 3 boys. Good luck.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
They are all home from school today on a snow day.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a tough assignment in life, 3 boys. Anyway, how did you ever get involved in this thing? How did you, jump into the Moms Demand Action group?
Yeah, well, just to give a little background, it was founded by a mother, Shannon Watts. She was a stay-at-home mom of 5. And after the Sandy Hook shooting, she formed a Facebook page from our kitchen counter in Indiana. That Facebook page grew to have chapters in all 50 states. And so I started following Shannon on social media after Sandy Hook. That's when my oldest son, we were signing him up for preschool. And it was just such a devastating massacre and watching Congress take no action. So I've been following her, but fast forward to 2018, and there was a shooting in Parkland, Florida, at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. And the fact that high school students had to form their own organization and march for our lives and advocate for themselves, I just finally knew that I could no longer kind of passively sit back and watch this play out. It was something that I needed to take action. So I grabbed one of my close friends, Kelly. I was a little nervous about going for the first time myself. I didn't know what this organization, their meetings were like. And so I showed up at Panera Bread where they were having the Traverse City Moms Demand Action meeting. I signed up to be the data lead at first. Kelly signed up to be the membership lead. And then I went on to lead our local group here in Traverse City. And now I'm working with another volunteer to lead the state of Michigan.
So have you seen any, and I'm sure you have, but, gun violence issues here in Northern Michigan? Do you see that as having more unique challenges or opportunities? How do you see, though, the Northern Michigan being different maybe than Nashville or, Sandy Hook or someplace like that?
Yeah, well, I would say, no community is immune from gun violence. So just to start there. And how many times in the news have you heard someone say, I didn't think it could happen in our community? So unfortunately, that is the facts. Now, if you look at Michigan's statistics, over 50% of the gun deaths in our state are due to suicide by gun. And so that's an area that we focus on. But we work to end all forms of gun violence. So that includes domestic violence, homicides, unintentional shootings by children. That doesn't, if you follow the news, that happens way too often. 4.6 million children live in homes that have at least one firearm that is loaded and unlocked. So that's a lot of the work that we do here is getting information out about secure storage.
And what do you see when you're looking at the Moms Group? What do you see as their organizational mission, going forward?
Yeah, well, we're a grassroots organization. We're nonpartisan. We're part of Everytown for Gun Safety, along with Students Demand Action and the Everytown Survivor Network. So we're the largest gun violence prevention organization in the country. We've got nearly 10 million supporters, and we grow every day. We also support the Second Amendment. So we're a multifaceted organization. We work at the local, state, and federal level to advance a cultural shift around gun safety. So the ways in which we take action, how we get our name is that we advocate for common sense gun laws. We elect gun sense candidates. And that doesn't matter what party you're affiliated with. If you say that your campaign and your platform is aligned around common sense gun laws and gun safety, you can become a gun sense candidate and we'll work to get you elected. We also educate the public and create awareness.
Yeah, I think the polarization that occurs can be pretty dramatic. I mean, it seems to me, your group, as I, read a lot about your group recently, you really sort of wrap yourself around the Second Amendment in that you try to work within the Second Amendment to get gun safety issues resolved. It's not about, folks, it's not about trying to, get the Second Amendment or get the amendment, wiped off the Constitution. It's really a move to work within that Second Amendment to work on gun safety laws. And recently, Whitmer signed some recent gun legislation. Maybe you ought to talk about that a little bit and give us an idea of not what went on, but what the legislation is.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to kind of back up a little bit, in 2023, when we had a gun sense majority in Michigan, that's since changed in this most recent election, but we passed a secure storage law in Michigan. We passed a red flag law, also known as an extreme risk protection order law. We also expanded background checks, and we passed a law to prohibit convicted domestic violence abusers from buying, owning, and transporting firearms for 8 years after their sentence. And then just yesterday, Governor Whitmer signed 3 pieces of legislation into law that related to gun safety. One was around facilitating Medicaid reimbursement for critical services provided by community violence intervention organizations. The second one was ensuring crime guns and guns collected from buyback programs are destroyed. A lot of those programs would buy them back, but then those guns would end up back on the streets. And the third one was requiring secure firearm storage notifications to go out to Michigan schools. So we were very pleased that we were able to make progress through the lame duck session. A lot of hard work from our volunteers testifying to get that. And so we made it past the finish line with Governor Whitmer just yesterday.
That's super. I mean, every piece of legislation just helps a little bit to get the gun safety issue, to get it more out in front of people, and especially the secure lockup of guns. I mean, that's been a problem. For a matter of fact, I think that was an issue down in, was it Oxford, Michigan, where the parents were charged? And was that a gun lockup issue?
Well, that was a little complex because they actually purchased the gun for their son. But secure storage, that's a problem across the country. We're looking to hold adults accountable. We have a whole educational program called Be Smart. And besmartforkids.org is a website. You can look for other information about it. But it's a program around really secure storage, knowing the signs of the risks of teen suicide, modeling responsible behavior around guns, and asking anywhere where your children are. And this is something that, slips my mind, even though I do this work and volunteer all the time with Moms in Action, is anywhere where your children are going to be, ask if there are guns in the home. We have so many firearms in our country that you should know wherever your children are having play dates or they're going over to a friend's house or a grandparent, even, relatives. Are there firearms in the house and are they securely stored? And what I mean by that is, are they locked? Are they unloaded? And is ammunition stored separately from the firearm?
And there have been incidences of, 2-year-olds shooting their brothers or sisters, and, the guns aren't locked up. What do you, on the youth and education, how are you getting out to the kids?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I'm proud to say that we have 3. So as I mentioned, we associate with Students Demand Action. We work really closely with them. We have 3 Students Demand Action groups here in our area. One at West High School, one at Central High School, and one at Interlochen. They're doing great work. In fact, they're working on a movie showing and a discussion at the State Theater coming up in February. We also passed a resolution at the TCAP School Board in 2022 to distribute safe storage information to parents with students at TCAPs. And so they've been doing that in their newsletters. And we do quite a bit of tabling at community events where parents are going to be, like health fairs, Friday Night Live. So that's how we reach. But really, the Be Smart message is a message to adults. It's really the adult's responsibility to make sure that firearm is stored properly. Unfortunately, firearms are the leading cause of death in children and teens in the United States, and it's preventable.
Yeah, a lot of it's preventable. And I don't think people realize that in groups like yourself, the moms demand action. I believe, you've got to get the word out. It seems like on the be smart thing, you can't, when you've got a firearm in the house, you can't drop your guard. You got to keep
Right.
your eyes on it all the time. You've got to keep it locked up and secure. And there are plenty of, gun safety storage, units you can buy anywhere here in town that really help prevent kids getting into the cabinet and the guns and so forth. And when you look at, all the work you've been involved in, have you got any personal stories or impact that you might want to share with the audience?
Yeah, actually, I'll tell you about a beautiful young woman named Missy, who was 32 years old. She ended her relationship with her boyfriend after 5 years. And this young man struggled with accepting that their relationship had ended. Both Missy's family and her ex-boyfriend's family knew he was not doing well mentally with the end of this relationship. They also knew that he had access to firearms, but legally at that time, there was nothing that family could do to remove his firearms. The ex-boyfriend showed up at Missy's house. He shot Missy and killed her, and he shot himself. Missy's mother, Linda, is one of our volunteers and a dear friend here in Traverse City. And she's given me permission to share Missy's story. And on the bright side now, because of the tireless efforts of our volunteers, I'm proud to say that Michigan has a red flag law, as I mentioned, the Extreme Risk Protection Order. And this allows people to petition a judge to temporarily remove firearms if they are known to be a threat to themselves or to others. And you can find information about Michigan's ERPO, or Extreme Risk Protection Order law, on a website called onethingyoucando.org. Red flag laws are just slightly different from state to state, but you can specifically look for Michigan on that website, onethingyoucando.org. And it tells you all about who's allowed to petition a judge. There's certain, roles that you have, either it's a medical professional or a family member, and it details out all of that information. So that's one thing that we're going to really try to work to get that message out.
You call it Moms Demand Action, but I know I signed up for the Facebook page. I mean, you accept guys too, right?
Oh, yes. It's mothers and others. Our name does say moms, but anyone that is interested in working on ending gun violence, reducing gun violence, is welcome to join our organization. And you can do that really easily by texting the word JOIN, JOIN, to the number 64433. And that will get you connected with our communications about our meetings and events that we hold throughout the year.
And you're also on Facebook.
Yes. Yes, we do have Traverse City Moms Demand Action on Facebook. You can request to join. It's a private group, but we share a lot of information on that page as well.
Yeah, and I joined in that page, and I see you. Well, I'm looking out the window, and we've got an event coming up May 21st, and I can't wait. I think it's May 21st.
Yeah, our first meeting of the year, our first meeting of the year is Wednesday, February 19th, and that's kind of our regular meeting for our membership. That'll be at Central United Methodist Church. But if you text the word JOIN to 64433, you'll get an email with all of our events and notifications when we're having our next meetings. We do alternate a monthly meeting, which is a little bit more formal, where we have slides and share information about our plans for advocacy. And then the alternating month, we have a social gathering, which is just a little bit more informal, where you can just get to know our volunteers and have, share with people that are also working to end gun violence.
So looking forward, 2025, Traverse City, Moms Demand Action. What are your priorities? What do you got going? What are you thinking about doing?
Well, we're busy ladies and gentlemen. So we are always looking to grow supporters and volunteers. And that's top of getting spreading the message. But we'll really be working to get the Be Smart message out there to new audiences, especially because secure storage is a law here in Michigan now. We want to also educate the public on Michigan's red flag law. So that's a new law. It's not doing any good if it's not being used. So the public needs to know how to use it. So if they know someone that is a threat to themselves or to others, they know how to go through that process.
Super. Well, we're going to be looking forward to hearing more from you guys, and you can certainly come back in midsummer, tell us, what you guys have got going, what you've accomplished, and, the different things that are happening within your organization. I certainly appreciate you coming on, Megan. I think a lot of people, sometimes they don't realize about these good organizations that are out there trying to help prevent gun violence. And I'd like to see more people sign up, more volunteers, and get the word out.
Well, thanks so much for having me. We'd love for anyone and everyone to join. We've got a great group of people that are working here in our community.
A lot of Michiganders. Okay, Megan, thank you very, very much, ma'am.
Thank you.